What a beautiful day as the entire Cheshire community comes together to celebrate three very special veterans who served in World War II and who are turning 100 this month. A big shout out, thank you to all of our men and women who serve and fight for our freedom.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. What a beautiful fall day here in Cheshire. My name is Corey from Country 92.5, and I am honored to be your MC for today. Just a round of applause for everybody that showed up today and this gorgeous day, and our honorees that we couldn't be more proud to be here to honor today. We are honoring Chief Petty Officer Ralph Rowland, Staff Sergeant Irvin Daubert, and First Lieutenant Florence Bryant. Before we get started, if you are able, we ask that you stand for our national anthem that Carl will be singing.
Hi. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we at the twilight's last streaming, Christmas stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' white glare almost bursting in air gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing as the stars sing, oh, better yet way, o'er the land of the free and the home of our brave.
Great job. All right, let's get started. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our three honorees today. Starting with Chief Petty Officer Ralph Rowland. Turns 100 on October 10th. I hope whoever's in charge of these parties isn't doing the whole legit candle thing. Just saying, I'll throw that out there. Prior to enlisting, Ralph worked for a Navy contractor on the YMS Minesweeper project design as a draftsman. Ralph volunteered in 1942, served in the United States Navy's Seabee during World War II, stationed in the Pacific around New Guinea, Admiralty Islands, and Okinawa. He helped to build airfields and advanced base facilities there. Rowland was preparing to be part of the Operation Downfall, the planned Allied invasion of the Japanese home islands. The operation had two parts, Operation Olympic and Operation Coronet. Set to begin in November of 1945, Operation Olympic was intended to capture the southern third of the southernmost main Japanese island, with the recently captured island of Okinawa to be used as a staging area. Ralph would have been part of Operation Olympic. This would have been the largest amphibious operation in history, with estimated Allied casualties in the millions. The operation was canceled upon the surrender of Japan. Ralph was discharged in November of 1945, moved to Cheshire in 1957, and worked as an architect for 50 years. Happy birthday. Staff Sergeant Irv Daubert turns 100 on, oh wait, what's today's date? Wait, he already turned 100. Happy birthday on the 7th. That's why I'm in radio, I don't do math. Volunteered to serve in the U.S. Army Air Corps in 1942, was stationed in England and flew 35 combat missions as part of a B-24 crew member into France and Germany between January of 43 and the war's end. Daubert's string of good fortune during combat missions nearly came to an end during one flight when flak from anti-aircraft fire hit his section of the B-24 and lodged in his boot. Each mission typically lasted 8 hours, flown at 35,000 feet, with temperatures ranging from 40 to 60 degrees below zero. No heat, just layers of clothing. Irv left the military in October of 1945 and moved to Cheshire in 1950, working in sales. Oh, bless your heart. Irv also served 35 years in the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's been a part of the Boy Scouts of America for 85 years and was Scoutmaster for Troop 51 in Cheshire. One of Cheshire's most famous residents, Medal of Honor recipient Harvey C. Barney Barnum, was part of his troop, attaining the rank of Eagle Scout, and said this: Scoutmaster Daubert was instrumental in preparing me for and guiding through the challenges of growing up. I contend the success I have attained are a direct result of his drive, determination, and dedication to providing his scouts with a strong foundation upon which to erect the walls of life. Happy birthday. First Lieutenant Florence Bryant. I don't have your birthday here. I'm going to assume because a woman never tells anyone how old she is. First Lieutenant Florence Bryant enlisted in the Army Nurse Corps shortly after graduating from Grace Hospital School of Nursing in New Haven. Entering the service as a second lieutenant, she was stationed at Bradley Field for 2 years, where she watched this tiny hospital unit grow to a medical facility that served the needs of military men from across the country. In May of 1945, as the war in the Pacific evolved, Mrs. Bryant joined over 3,000 troops and a contingent of Army nurses on the maiden voyage of the USS Hodges on an unescorted 21-day journey across the Pacific to the Philippines. Florence was briefly stationed on the island of Luzon, and from there, Florence, now a first lieutenant, traveled to Leyte, where the Army was preparing its push toward the main islands of Japan. It was while she was stationed there that she learned of the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. At war's end, Florence was once again stationed on Leyte to await her 14-day voyage home. She returned to civilian life in February of 1946, but her life of service was only the beginning. Upon arriving home, Florence became a nurse with the Visiting Nurse Association in Hamden, assisting young mothers with the challenges of infant care, and subsequently working in the hospital and at home settings helping patients and their families. She also served as a staff nurse at Waterbury Hospital until her retirement in 1982. Mrs. Bryant is extremely proud of her work as a nurse and grateful for the years she spent serving her country. Her experiences in the Army Nurse Corps shaped the person we honor today, an individual committed to her community and dedicated to being of service to family, friends, and neighbors. Florence, happy birthday. When I got the phone call to be asked to be a part of this amazing day, it wasn't even a thing. Absolutely, I'll be there 100%, whatever you need. Not that I could speak. These events are really emotional for me, so I apologize. Not that I could speak for everybody, certainly not. But thank you just doesn't seem enough from the bottom of our hearts for everything that you've done for this country, that we get to live the lives that we live today. This event is hosted by Because of the Brave, the Hometown Foundation, and the town of Cheshire. Because of the Brave is an organization founded by 17-year-old Hayley Falk to honor veterans. The Hometown Foundation is the charitable nonprofit of Bizzuto's, and one of their core initiatives is focused on the military. Hayley's hope behind the celebration is to remind everyone of the service and sacrifice of those who have gone before us to support our way of life, our freedom. With everything going on in this country currently, she believes we can remind people of what a great nation we have. You come up here. Come up here. Stand next to me. Come on, stand next to me. Every day you just hear these stories that are garbage. And then there's a 17-year-old girl in Cheshire who is honoring our veterans, and that's what our kids should be doing. And you're not even my kid, and I want to hug you. I'm just really proud. Okay. Hayley comes from a long line of service in her family, dating back to the American Revolutionary War. In 2013, she made her first trip to Arlington National Cemetery with her father and brother to volunteer for Wreaths Across America, which has become an annual tradition. On her annual trip to Arlington, she also visits Cheshire Native and Medal of Honor recipient Harvey C. Barney Barnum and his wife Martha, who live in the area. Over the years, she would always tag along with her father at veterans events and fundraisers where she would meet many people, including some of those here today. Hayley attended the Vets Rock at Mohegan Sun and saw how Kevin Brown would honor the veterans and active duty personnel. It was at Vets Rock where Hayley met Bob Kaiser and learned about the APK charities. Wonderful charity, right? She would later meet Helen. And unfortunately, Bob and Helen could not be here today because of a family thing. All these experiences culminated into Hayley forming Because of the Brave. Because of the Brave works to ensure we all honor those who have served and perpetuate their legacy so it can be passed down in order to preserve our way of life and our freedom. Hayley, again, is just 17 years old and attends that school over there, who thankfully gave her the day off so she could be here today. The microphone is yours.
All right. Happy birthday, First Lieutenant Bryant Staff Sergeant Daubert and Chief Rowland. Because of your sacrifice and service to our great nation, we are all here today. Thank you. Mr. Bizzuto, the Hometown Foundation, Town Manager Kimball, and Superintendent Solon, thank you for helping to put this event together. I am especially thankful for Chairman Oris. You believed wholeheartedly in this cause from the moment we spoke and did not even have to give it any thoughtful consideration. I would also like to thank our sponsors, Power Station Events and RWWII. I am so thankful for the role models in my life that inspired me to pursue my passion of creating Because of the Brave. For starters, my family has taught me the proper way to honor our current and former service members. I will be forever thankful and would have never come this far if it weren't for them. They do anything and everything in their power to ensure my brother and I are successful and become productive members of society. My father is a veteran who served in the Navy submarine service, and my grandfather served in Vietnam with the Army. Cheshire Native and Medal of Honor recipient Colonel Harvey C. Barnum, Jr. has personally given me extraordinary life lessons that I will cherish for a lifetime and be eternally grateful for. His words of wisdom have changed my life by inspiring me to do more and be more. They have also inspired me to understand that anything is possible. Ordinary people, when called upon, can perform extraordinary feats, just as he did to earn the Medal of Honor. Brian Donahue, although you cannot be here today, your story changed my life. After reading your book on borrowed time, you made me want to become the best person I could be, no matter how much time we are given here on earth. You proved that the impossible is possible and that hard work and determination will get you far in life. Bob and Helen, I had the privilege to meet you at Vets Rock in 2017, and I will always be moved by your son, Captain Andrew Pedersen Keel, and his selfless acts of bravery. I will always honor and remember him by continuing to visit Section 60, grave marker 10108, and supporting APK charities. Kevin Brown. Tagging along with my father as he volunteered with Salute the Troops in Vets Rock allowed me the opportunity to meet these great people who have inspired me, including yourself, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Colonel Barnum regrets being able to attend this event as he is not traveling, but wanted me to pass on his sentiments. On the occasion of Irv Daubert, Ralph Rowland, and Florence Bryant's 100th birthdays, as a fellow veteran and former Cheshire resident, I salute and thank these 3 World War II veterans for their demonstrated dedication to our great country and for their loyal and faithful service to the Army, Air Corps, U.S. Navy Seabees, and the Army Nurse Corps. They are shining examples of what Tom Brokaw referred to as the greatest generation. They served their country with distinction, came home, became role models for the youth of our great country, and provided inspiration for all within their community. I have never met First Lieutenant Bryant, did not know Chief Petty Officer Rowland very well, but I reiterate what I said before about Staff Sergeant Daubert. Irv was my scoutmaster back in the 1950s. I contend his leadership was instrumental in preparing me for and guiding me through the challenges of growing up, and helped me prepare for the responsibilities I would go on to be entrusted with as an officer of Marines. As we all confront and deal with COVID-19 pandemic, being able to pause, recognize, and pay tribute to these great Americans, I'm sure will be the highlight of everyone's week. As they celebrate their 100th birthdays, let us all in their names rededicate ourselves to the ideals this great country stands for and for which they served and fought for. May God bless each of them, and may God continue to bless their great country we call America. Happy birthday, Barney Barnum. Thank you.
Well done, Hayley.
17. Did I mention 17? Amazing. Okay. Now on our list, Rob Oris, a member of the Cheshire Town Council since 2013, has served as chairman since 2015. Over the years, through his leadership, he has continued to keep Cheshire the great town it has always been, while continuing to improve the life of its residents. When Hayley approached Rob about her idea for this event, he was immediately supportive and thought it would be great for everyone to celebrate the birthdays and service of these veterans. Rob was instrumental in getting this event going with the town's support. When Rob came on the council, Cheshire was ranked 39th out of the top 100 best small towns in which to live by Money Magazine in 2013. This year, Cheshire has been selected by Money as one of the 50 best places to live in the U.S., ranking 28th. How about that? I hear you. I got it written down. He's over here giving me the facts. I live in Southington. I'm sorry. Okay. Congratulations to Rob Oris and town manager Sean Kimball on this great accomplishment. You could clap louder than that. It's okay. Today, just another reason why Cheshire is one of the greatest places to live. Rob?
Thank you all so much. It's tough to talk through the mask, but I'm going to do so anyway. I do speak loud. And I was not the one to write that bio, so thank you, whoever did it. You made me sound really great. I can tell you, we've done this as a community, and the entire town council, who works tirelessly for all of our community, deserves credit for this function and for everything that our government does here locally. It's not Rob Oris, it's a team of 9. So thank you to the entire town council for doing everything you do every day. And I certainly want to thank Hayley for inviting me to participate in this great event. I commend you for your efforts to honor and support our veterans and all who served. Today we honor 3 remarkable individuals sitting over here. Miss Florence Bryant, First Lieutenant Bryant, Mr. Irv Daubert, Staff Sergeant Daubert, and Mr. Ralph Rowland, Chief Petty Officer Rowland, all who served our country with great distinction during World War II. As all three of you turn 100, on behalf of our Cheshire community, I wish you a happy birthday, and I thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your service. I thank you for your selfless sacrifice and unwavering commitment to defend America and our freedoms, and for showing us all what the American spirit can accomplish when we serve a cause greater than our own. You are truly American heroes. Thank you. Like those before us, we must all do our part to preserve our freedoms and the freedoms of future generations. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all are essential to the fabric of our country. We don't need to join the military to do so. We can do so by voting in elections, speaking out against injustices, volunteering in our community, mentoring, and by teaching our children the foundations of our great country. I remember a quote from John F. Kennedy. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. I think that's so important in this day and age. So with that in mind, let's honor Miss Bryant, Mr. Daubert, Mr. Rowland, and all who served and sacrificed through our actions every day. I have 3 proclamations for all of you on behalf of the entire Cheshire Town Council, which I won't read, but I'll be happy to give to you. And with that, I thank you all for being here today. Oops, somebody's speech is blowing away. With that, I thank you all for being here to honor these heroes, and thank you all for being here. God bless you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Liz Linehan, where's my friend Liz? Where are you? You're hiding over there? Okay. Liz Linehan is a state representative with the 103rd District, and she brought some other state reps with her. Liz has been the representative to Cheshire, Southington, and Wallingford since being elected in 2016. Prior to that, she served on the Cheshire Town Council as the 3rd District representative. Liz currently serving as the chair of the Committee on Children, sits on the Education Committee, and a member of the Veterans Committee. Children, education, and veterans, always a priority to Liz, along with so many other things. Liz, a representative that is always in touch and assisting citizens, setting the bar for what others should aspire to. Liz, proud to be here as a state representative to Florence, Irvin, and Ralph. Liz?
Thank you very much, and I'm honored to be here with the entire delegation, and I'd like to take a moment to introduce each of them, please. Senator Mary Abrams, who also is the Vice Chair of the Veterans Committee. Representative Leslie Zupkis. Representative Craig Fishbein. And unfortunately, Senator Rob Sampson couldn't be here today, but I'm sure that he sends his highest regards. I'd like to take a moment to say and echo everybody here thanking Hayley for putting this together. I have known Hayley for years, and I've seen her grow from a very capable young woman to an even more capable young woman. And I want to take a moment to say thank you for all of your work and your commitment to those who serve, and I'm so proud to know you. As former vice chair of the Veterans Committee, it has been an honor of my lifetime to honor those that have served, and today is no different. To all of you on your 100th birthday, thank you for your commitment to our country, to your commitment to our freedoms and our way of life. We are here because of you, and we stand here and honor you today. And it's important to note that as we honor you now, please know that we will be honoring you for our future and for all time. And the way we will be doing that is I make a personal commitment and a solemn vow to each of you that I will continue to teach my children about the sacrifices that you made, about the work that you did for the freedoms that they enjoy today. Thank you all so much for your bravery, your courage, your commitment, and your sacrifice. We would not be here without you, and we honor you not only today for your 100th birthday, but for all of our days. Thank you. With that, we have some flags that we would like to present to you. Do we have someone who could come and bring flags to our wonderful honorees? Hayley, can you help? This flag was flown in honor and recognition of Mr. Irvin Daubert for his service to the country during World War II and his 100th birthday atop the Connecticut State Capitol on September 30th. Congratulations and thank you. You want to read one? You want to read one?
Oh, sure. Hi, I'm Representative Fishbein, and this is for Lieutenant Keith John Zengel, Operations Support Commander. Just want to thank you. We tend to use the word hero all too often, and I really think that, as was mentioned earlier by Chairman Oris, you are our heroes, and without you, we wouldn't be here today having the celebration. And Hayley, you should be commended even more than you have already today. So, thank you.
Thank you. I'm Senator Mary Doherty Abrams, and I'm proud to represent Cheshire up at the state capitol. I am also incredibly blessed to be the vice chair of the Veterans Committee. And I present this flag to Florence Bryant for her service in the European theater during World War II and for her 100th birthday. It was flown over the state capitol on September 30th, 2020. Congratulations, Florence. I would also like to mention that when I was meeting the honorees earlier, one of them said to me when I shared that I was the vice chair of the Veterans Committee, take care of the people that are serving now. They are serving in tough times and having difficulties when they come back, so take care of them. And I thought that really touched my heart. And it's exactly why I feel so blessed to serve on the Veterans Committee. And that's exactly what I will do in all of your honor. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Representative Leslie Zupkis. I won't repeat what's said except thank you. We're free and you fought for our freedom. We are truly grateful. Thank you for fighting for the flag and everything that it represents for us and our future generations. God bless you and God bless America.
I'm supposed to follow that? Holy cow. So the next speaker that I want to introduce you to, you all know I really don't have to do it. He is ESPN. I grew up, watching with my dad sports, and I knew who he was, and then I got lucky enough to get this fabulous job that I do and host the Cheshire Relay for Life here several years in a row, and got to work with him as well. And so many people, I brought my little kids, and they're screaming around and running around, and he would just, stop and give them a smile. And so many people ask me, what's he really like? What you see on ESPN is what you get when you bump into him at the Stop and Shop. It's the exact same guy. And I never realized, other than sports, because that's what you connect him with, what else? Until a couple years ago at the Travelers Championship, I was with my husband, who served 3 tours in Iraq for Operation Iraqi Freedom. And as we were leaving, I said, I go, there's Chris Berman. I go, come here, let me just say hi. I'll introduce you. Not knowing how my husband Kyle felt about this man. And when I introduced them, I could see him shaking. Not Chris, my husband. Only other time I've ever seen him shake was when he proposed. And he shook his hand, and he said to him, I was over there for 8 years, and you connected me to home. Sorry, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, not just Cheshire's favorite son, Connecticut's favorite, Chris Berman.
Thank you, Corey, and thank you, Hayley. This is amazing. I think, we can't say it enough, but to Irv, a happy 100th birthday. To Ralph, a happy 100th birthday. And to Florence, a happy 39th birthday. If you think about it for just a moment, you guys were born in 1920, which means you were in elementary school in the roaring 20s. Now that's interesting in itself. You were teenagers in the Depression. That's a different sort of interesting, if that's the right word. And you're in World War II in your 20s. So by age 25, you had already lived a full life. And then there's 75 plus more years to go. So that deserves another wow. We've talked about Irv's been here since 1950, and Ralph 1957, and Florence serving in our Waterbury Hospital and visiting nurses in Hamden, and you're just been pillars of our town and of our region. World War II, it goes without saying, what they and their compatriots accomplished, we would not be the country nor the world as we know it. You don't need me to say it. but we need to think about that again. My dad served in World War II. He lived a great life. He's no longer with us, but he lived till 89. His best friend, and I will say his name, Jim Woolner, was a major in the Battle of the Bulge, and none of you talk much about what happened. I'm sure maybe you still don't to this day. Before Jim passed, and again, he was in his 80s, he had lunch with my dad and me and talked to me about what the Battle of the Bulge, what he experienced, and my father said he had never heard that. It was like his best friend. So for you to keep all this inside of you, but we can only imagine, 35 bombing missions, Pacific Front, we can only imagine. And they don't build them like this generation anymore. And if you look at the three of them, that's living proof. They just don't build them like this anymore. My wife Kathy and I moved here to Cheshire in 1984. It sounds like yesterday to compare to these folks. But I mean, we've lived here 36 years, which is, I thought about it last night, over half my life. I'm young, I know, 65. I think old, you think young. Our children were both born here in 86 and 87. It's another story another time, but Doug actually was born ambulance in front of the house, so his birth certificate actually does say Cheshire, Connecticut, okay? That's a whole nother story. It's all good. Unfortunately, my wife was buried here 3.5 years ago. When I talk about our town, I, until today, talked about two things. How proud I was that the Relay for Life, that this town, nobody did that then, right? The Relay for Life, nobody. And then every year it set records with no blueprint, with no canvas of how to do it, with campers on the football field and beyond, and then the money we raised. That speaks for the togetherness, the white, the blue collar, the every color skin of this town. I always talk about the Relay for Life. I remember when, and it was right over here at Bartlam, the traveling memorial wall for Vietnam came through. Do you remember that? It was here for 4 days. It's a while ago now. And it was fittingly a very drizzly and cold Saturday. It was later in October, and some of us spent some time reading as many names as we could. But then, in the cafeteria, or in the high school, the students, each one took a man or a lady who had passed away from anywhere in Connecticut, wrote a story about them, and had them out for us to read. That made me proud to be Cheshire. But today tops it. We're honored to live in the same town as you. Florence and Ralph and Irv, thank you for making Cheshire what it is. And 20 years from now, when we all gather again to celebrate your 120th birthday, and Florence will be 59, we look forward to that day as well, and hope these vehicles are running as well as you guys. So thank you all, and again, happy birthday, and thank you from all of us in Cheshire.
Okay, one more and we're getting this parade started, okay? Our next speaker is Kevin Red Eagle Brown, President and CEO of the United States Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Colonel retired Kevin Red Eagle Brown served for 25 years as an infantry leader in the United States Army, recently retired as the chairman of the Mohegan Sun Tribe and chairman of the Mohegan Tribal Gaming Authority. In those roles, he was responsible for the well-being of the 2,000-member Mohegan Tribe of Indians of Connecticut, as well as the business ventures, Mohegan Gaming and Entertainment. Additionally, he kickstarted Mohegan business diversification efforts outside of the gaming industry. Born into the Army as a young Screaming Eagle while his father was assigned to the 101st Airborne Division at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, Chairman Brown is the son of a member of our nation's greatest generation, is also the son of a Mohegan tribal nonner, a respected female tribal elder. His father, Michael Brown, was a veteran of World War II, having fought with the 17th Airborne Division in the Battle of the Bulge and Operation Varsity, as well as serving in the conflicts in Korea and Vietnam. His mother, Pauline Red Feather Brown, was born on Mohegan Hill, just a few feet from the, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to say this one, Tantaquidgeon, did I get it? Nice, Indian Museum, the oldest Indian-owned and operated Indian museum in America, on what for centuries has been Mohegan tribal territory. He began his own service after graduating from West Point in 1987, has led in combat and deployed environments in all levels, as a platoon leader with the 101st Airborne Division during Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, as a company commander in the 1st Cavalry Division along the Iraqi border during Operation Southern Watch and Intrinsic Action, as a battalion chief, executive officer in the Northern Jungles of Thailand during Operation Cobra Gold, as a battalion commander in the 10th Mountain Division in Baghdad during Operation Iraqi Freedom, and again as a deputy brigade commander for 1st Brigade Combat Team, 10th Mountain Division in Kirkuk, Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom. Holy cow, I got a whole other page to read. Why don't you just get up here and say some words? Holy cow. He did a lot.
I'm glad you did that, Chris. Thank you very much. Appreciate the intro. Yeah. I've got prepared remarks right here. For anybody that knows me, I'm probably going to go off script. However, I'm supposed to be the closer. Now, if we were all watching SportsCenter, the closer is Mariano Rivera coming in, throwing 18 pitches over 2 innings, and it's done.
Yes.
All right? Unfortunately, this game's going to go to about 14 innings. So I got a few more words to say. This is such a special day. Look around. I mean, you want to talk about the definition of idyllic, right? I'm going to break it by saying it, but I haven't heard mention of COVID or anything else up to this point right here when I said it. And the reason is, a beautiful day, a top 50 town, veterans, and people who respect the military in our nation all gathered today. It just doesn't get any prettier or better or more special than what we have here today. And as I listened to Hayley speak earlier, I'm going to tell you straight up, in a couple of straight sentences, I went from crying to laughing. Hayley, I appreciate you recognizing that I've had anything to do with an imprint on your desire to do the great things that you're doing, and you brought me to tears there, and it made me think of that scene in Private Ryan, when the young fella falls to his knees in that light blue windbreaker with his airborne wings on his lapel, and he says to his wife, "Just tell me that I'm a good man." And you just cinched it for me right there, and I appreciate that. Everybody here falls in that category. We are all doing the right thing and recognizing the importance of recognizing our heroes. I'm humbled to be here today amongst these 3 great Americans, but let's make no bones about it. I'm humbled to be here as well with this great young lady who arranged this thing. How about a round of applause for Hayley? So when we think of the greatest generation, as Tom Brokaw had titled it, we think of their heroics and their personal courage, their sacrifice, their commitment, their sense of duty and loyalty to this country and the services that they served in. These are all individual qualities that you folks exemplify, that we hold dear, and your models, your role models for us in how we wish to live and live out our lives. But I would bet you that every one of them to a person would say it isn't about their individual qualities, but more about the aggregate qualities that they and everyone else from their generation exemplified. They lived in a time of shared responsibility. We talked today about respect for the military, and that's important and it's good, and we should all keep doing it. And this is one of those moments where I'm preaching to the choir, right? All the right people are here. The fact that you're here identifies that you understand that message. But there are folks that don't quite get that. But that's still a shade different from the era in which these folks grew up and served. Back then, it was a shared responsibility. The very reason we have an iconic image that we can all call on called Rosie the Riveter, who said we can do it, is because we had a nation that understood that the only way through it was if everyone was in it together. People served. My father jumped out of airplanes at the age of 16 because the Army thought he was 18 because that's what he said on his birth certificate or on his enrollment papers, enlistment papers. People back home, like Rosie the Riveter type folks, took part in the war effort and made sure that the troops up front were equipped. And everyone on the home front, whether it was food or goods or materials, sacrificed and rationed and made sure that we were all in it together. It's a little bit different than where we are today. And I don't mean to cast a shadow on our current generation of Americans, but what I'm trying to highlight is the kind of America that these three folks came from and represent today, and other folks that are here in the audience with us as well today. I remember being in Baghdad in 2005, just about, 5 years into the conflict in Iraq. We're now 20 years hence from when this all began. And I remember hearing a young soldier say, quote, "We're an army at war and a nation at the Burger King drive-thru." There was that sense of that gap between recognizing and understanding the sacrifices of all of the folks that had served and then the folks that were back home. That wasn't the case in the 1940s with this group of folks. See what happens when you don't use your remarks. Let me see if I can get right back to them. So for the rest of the folks that aren't here with us today, the folks that we should carry this message back to, we recognize the treasure that is the lives of these great folks, Florence, Ralph, and Irv, but all of their colleagues from that generation as well. And it's because of the brave. It's because of the brave and the example that they set for generations of Americans to come. If there's one thing that's important for all of us to take, it's that we can't forget that we live here in this land of freedom on this beautiful day in this beautiful town because of the brave. Thank you, First Lieutenant Florence Bryant, Chief Petty Officer Ralph Rowland, Staff Sergeant Irv Daubert, for being exemplars of what a real brave American looks like, acts like, and lives like. Today we celebrate 3 centuries of American life well lived. We honor you, we respect you, we strive to be like you, and we salute you. Thank you very much. All right, are we ready for a parade? Yeah. For a birthday parade. All right, if you are in the parade, I guess you know where you're supposed to be. Once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for asking me to be a part of this amazing day. To the 3 of you, happy birthday. Thank you for my freedom. Thank you for letting me do what I do every day. Happy birthday.
Supporting the military is a primary pillar focus of the Hometown Foundation. It's all about bringing our community together, and today was the cherry on top, seeing everyone come together to support our veterans. Thank you for serving, thank you for your dedication, your bravery, and your sacrifice for our freedom.